Some fresh tunes to get your Monday morning started. Yes, Dr. Eve is in the house and we're talking relationships. Now, even when you suspect that you found the one, it's not uncommon for couples to go on a break and eventually rekindle the romance. Now, according to statistics, nearly half of all young adult relationships will break up and spend some time solo before getting back together again, at least once. But is it healthy to actually do that? Well, today we're going to be discussing that issue. And of course, Dr. Eve is going to be joining us to answer your questions. We're taking your calls. Our number is open right now, 083-913-3728. But before we get into the topic, we went on the streets to find out from our viewers what they think about this topic. Take a look.
For me, it wouldn't be an issue. I'd come to her and I'd tell her, look, I had a fling and we were on a break, so I feel there's a mutual understanding. And she needs to understand that, well, it was a break.
I would try and work things out and then look at the pros and cons of being in a relationship with my partner again.
I am currently in a relationship with someone overseas, and from my experience, this is my break right now. If he does do it, it is an issue for me because how can I trust him again to leave and take this break again?
It depends on the reason why we took the break. If he hurt me and I went on the fling with someone else, I wouldn't feel much guilty.
Very, very engaging topic this morning, Dr. Eve. Thank you very much for being here. We always appreciate it. So what would be some of the reasons why couples would take a break from their relationship?
I have to state categorically, Katlego, that I'm totally opposed to these breaks.
Are you? Okay, all right. And why is that?
Because it leads to such confusion and to such difficulty when people then get back together again. So let's start with like different age groups.
Yes.
If you're in a younger age group where people are exploring and experimenting and maybe they get together when they're young, and young could be anything 18 to 25 years old, and they are really they're really in love or they're having a significant relationship and they feel very attached to each other. And then it comes to a point where like, either we have to do this marriage thing or real commitment thing and buy a house, or else we have to part from each other. As let's take a break is always like the solution. And then they take their break, which is necessary in terms of actually exploring the world as an individual person. Then they can get together again later. However, it all depends. The success of the getting together at that age group is all going to depend on how well they decided to break it in the first place. What were the reasons for it?
Okay.
Was it a mutually acceptable and agreed upon idea that we're going to have a break, not because we don't like each other, because we just really want to kind of explore the world and do things separately. People travel a lot or move cities and move jobs, and then they get back together again. And if it's been a healthy, in other words, an adult way of ending that particular time of their lives together, it's much easier to get back together. But if you already are in a committed situation where you have accumulated children and relationships with other people and community, and you say, let's have a break.
Okay, that's, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of different,
It's
right?
too late. It's a little bit too late.
It's kind of different.
Yeah, so like I said, our number is also open right now, 083-913-3728. We'd like to engage with you on this topic, breaks and relationships. So is there then a healthy way of doing it and an unhealthy way of doing it?
Yes. The first way is a healthy way that I described. When people decide, actually, we've reached a place where we have to make a decision. We want to be able to move into different spaces for a while. We still have feelings, we still have love, and we may leave it open. But then they have to set almost like rules of engagement, because that's where the pain comes in. What do we do? What do we expect from each other during this break period? Are we still going to be sexually faithful to each other? Are we still going to be emotionally faithful to each other? Are hookups allowed to be happening as long as there isn't emotional attachment? What kind of sexual activity is going to be acceptable? I mean, I struggled with this with couples all the time in my therapy room. Of all age groups, we decide we're going to have a break, or we're actually getting divorced, or we're having a separation, and then find themselves months later having gone through different greener pastures and find they're not so green and then want to reconcile, or come back because of children or because they really want to be together, and find that they've got a history that they've developed in the break. And how do we manage that?
All right, well, we will continue with our conversation. Dr. Eve is in the house, and remember, our lines are open, 083-913-3728. Ewan, I'm going to ask you, bro, what do you think about this topic?